Hey, belated good morning, everyone. Sorry for getting started late. Have a few things going on here today, and it's just taking a while to get everything getting started and going. Going to not rush, but go through these in an expedited manner because we've got some other meetings and stuff here today, and so we just kind of need to get through these. So, without any further ado, going to jump right in, hit into SVXY. Currently, SVXY is up a little bit, just I guess kind of a decent bit for it. It is right now gapped above the trend guide reversal zone, so that's kind of where it's sitting at the moment. And so to the upside, pretty basic zone, just includes photo ADR, although really if we do gap, then photo ADRs will move up. It'll probably put most of the stuff actually up here near the tier 1 end of week cheat. So that's kind of the way things will look there. And really, again, if we get above this, we're already kind of above this high here that we had back on late April, early May. So clear that, and we're gonna set some new highs here again on at least 52-week basis, if not even further back. So pretty clean on SVXY there. Moving on to VIX. Kind of continues that, pop above, fail, pop above, fail. And it was nothing short of the same thing yesterday. Get everybody excited, thinking that we're going to break down and waterfall and whatever else, and then just kind of continue to slow grind fade. And so pretty clean zones across everything. Would watch this here for potential div against one of these two blocks. With the photo ADR weekly trend guide. Obviously it's gapping down a little bit, not a lot. It's 1676, so it's a smaller move in comparison to the SVXY one. But generally speaking, pretty good zones there. Heading over to SPY. So got a couple of things in here. So first, do have this kind of very old gap fill way up here at the 422-ish level, which would definitely be breaking above too this kind of trend line here that we started back in September, tagged again in February for the highs, did a lower high here just end of April, and so break above that, and now we're going to be kind of really pushing up into that 420-ish level that we've had problems with in the past. So in any event, you got that. You also have this box here for the monthly trend guide, weekly trend guide reversals, I should say, full ADR, supply and demand low, and the 419 structure with gap fill in there. So nice little boxes in that one. I don't know there's really a whole lot else to say in here other than the call out. We combined this block here with trend guide monthly and weekly pivots, swing anchor VWAP, 20-day EMA, is just kind of combine that as opposed to a zone and a div right back to back. So pretty clean on that one there. Really would watch, like, there wasn't, I don't have the volume profile in here, but I don't think, just looking at what we had on ES, like there wasn't a ton of volume as we shot through here. So if we don't hold this, then could get ugly and come down into that trend guide zone. And at least for ES right now, I mean, it's been continuing to push overnight, may come up into an early sell signal in the morning here. So just have to watch. See, at the moment SPY is trading up around 416.20, so it's up near kind of this weekly photo ADR block as we speak. On the Qs, so added this zone on the upside, supply and demand, weekly trend guide reversal 4, tier 2 daily cheat, and Qs are up at 322.11, excuse me, 332.11. So that'll likely move, if we open that way, it'll likely move the full ADRs up into that weekly trend guide reversal 4, which of interest has been that way for 9 weeks. In this one here, so I chose to split this instead of into one zone. I am looking and thinking of this as splitting into two. This 334 level goes way back. Obviously, you can see it here in August, but it also goes further back with where it had been support and then flipped to resistance here in April. So in my mind, I chose to split these into two. You could treat them as one for sure, just have it as a wider zone. But I chose to split it into two with weekly trend guide reversal at 334 mark. And then lower, go down a little bit and grab trend guide reversal, weekly full ADRs, gap fill, tier 1 OPEX cheat is right there too. Which, maybe we push up above and then we close it just underneath that tier 1 OPEX cheat there. It's kind of a simple little div. It's really just capturing, the high value area, the tier 1 into week cheat, and really just yesterday's highs. So I'm ignoring the monthly trend guide reversal. It's there with those pieces, but would put more weight on more pieces of evidence here with supply and demand, trend strength, weekly trend guide reversal too. And then down below, the rest of the zones are pretty clear, pretty self-evident, so not a whole lot else to add to them. So somehow the weekly pivot zone got wiped out, but there should be an arrow to the weekly pivot zone, and I don't even see it there. But in any event, there's if we decide to fail this, then you get weekly pivot, swing anchor VWAP right there at that 324.50-ish level. Moving on to ES. ES took a bit of thought for a change to kind of go through it, and similar to the one we just saw in Qs, this could be completely wrong, but the way that I was looking and thinking about it was splitting this up into two zones instead of a really kind of big one, because I wanted to grab this kind of, I think this actually, I can't tell if this was a double gap fill. I think this actually is a double gap fill right there, if I remember. So a double gap fill, NVPOC, trend guide reversal, bottom edge of supply and demand. So kind of treating that, and you could probably even actually take it down with where ES is trying to reject from overnight right now. But anyways, that one, and then the weekly trend guide reversal 2, top edge supply and demand, tier 1 daily cheat, naked VA. Like, it just, to me, it just felt more, it just felt cleaner to separate it out this way. And so pay attention to it, don't pay attention to it. That's just how I'm going to be looking at it. Fortunately, I'll be out for most of the day at an off-site meeting. So, but that's how I'll watch that. We'll keep an eye, like if you're around, I mean, keep an eye on this here. This is weekly IB stat, and right there is the NVPOC. We're trading above it right now, but you've got that there, and also right kind of that area which has now been taken out is the weekly photo ADR. We just kind of took that out on this little push there. So we got that, and underneath weekly trend guide reversal, gap fill, and VPOC. They're just from yesterday, so like I've said before, I don't put as much weight on them. They're there, definitely keep an eye on it, but you'd want to see kind of the lower edge of this zone here. And then, like I'd mentioned before, like there's very little volume going through this block here, and so would put more weight down here at that monthly pivot combo high volume node. There's also obviously some structure back through here where we'd come up, poke, try to get above, and just failed and whatnot. So, and then underneath to get into a bigger one, 20-day trend guide. There's also a daily anchored VWAP in there with the with that one, and then we start getting into some other pieces of evidence below, right? With full ADRs, gap fill, supply and demand. Obviously, we still have this big one here that we came really close to touching a couple of times with 50-day daily anchored VWAP, weekly trend guide, monthly trend guide. So that's definitely within the reach today. We've already put in almost 20 points at this point, and you know, we're starting to get up there 50-ish, 60, so starting to get back to some kind of normalcy, maybe, we'll see. And in any event, we take all those things out, then really big zone lower at that 40, 80-ish level. So, and then today, actually, where is it? This, the 4143, 4134, so this level here with trend guide is kind of where this daily trend line matches up, which is really similar to this one that we ticked yesterday before going up. And, you know, I don't have it on the screen, but that goes back to, I believe, this April date here on an hourly candle basis. Moving on to NQ, I'm going to start to hopefully speed up here. Noted a couple extra pieces here. So we've got a div up here that we added, which is tier 3 daily cheat, supply and demand. Potential div at the weekly trend guide reversal 4. We've got a div there at full ADRs, tier 2 daily cheat. And really, we start getting above this trend guide reversal zone here, monthly trend guide reversal stuff. Like, it could get, that's getting interesting. In fact, we're already poking above this block here, this zone with monthly trend guide reversal, the weekly IV stat high. We're already through since we closed on and set it yesterday at that one. So this is also one where we're just you know, looking at things and kind of debating on them, like, because we're starting to get up there with a lot of individual names. Like I was mentioning to some folks yesterday, and I'll pull that over real quick. You know, from a 20-day symmetrical extreme perspective, like, we are definitely getting up here now on, you know, Amazon, AMD, Google. Interesting SMH and Soxel and stuff aren't quite there, but they are there. You know, at least NVIDIA is there on the 50-day. And it's starting to get there from an average perspective. It's really kind of above the minimum tier, but I mean, we're definitely starting to get up here on some of these for sure. And so that's kind of the other reason it's playing in the back of my head as to why I split this one zone. Bigger zone, but it's just still kind of why I split that into two. And so the top half is, you know, gathering the 13,740, which kind of gets us back to some older historical structure, as well as that, again, weekly trend guide reversal, combo high value area, supply and demand, etc. The other one I noted will be in the folks that are in the room here with us is this structure here at this block. So if we decide to come down and take out this trend guide weekly, monthly trend guide reversal pieces here, yeah, there is some structure here, but it really is going to be kind of open space outside of things like structure and whatnot from there until we come all the way down to the weekly pivot, 20-day, etc. So have to keep that in mind if we do decide to break down here. RTY, not really going to hit a lot here, other than to note that we split the MPP zone to include 50-day, so it's really just kind of splitting these two blocks. No, splitting these two blocks here, and then combining this upper one into one zone, as opposed to treating it as two. So a lot of these just kind of felt like, you know, need to, because just some of the big moves need to split some of these wider zones back into two smallers. YM, I don't think there's, again, a whole lot to say here on this one. Did add, though, actually we'll call out, we did add this as a div. Just kind of looking at the structure pieces, weekly IV high stuff here, some of that there, which was, you know, bouncing off the 20-day, kind of weekly, you know, IV, you know, stats back here. So it's kind of why we marked that as a div level, especially if we decided to go through and take out this block here. So, wow, I just realized how fuzzy that looks on. Oh, it's because this is bad there. That's fine. Make sure if you are watching this, looks like YouTube had defaulted it to 240p for some reason, so just go ahead and change that to 1440 or 1080p if you're watching this back, and it should hopefully help there. I just realized in my other screen that I have it also playing on YouTube, just to double check myself. It was really blurry, so if you're watching back, just make sure you adjust that to be HD. Not else anything else I'm really going to add here on this. Again, keep moving. So hit up on GC. So we came into the look yesterday and actually took it out and went into the lower zones and came into it last night even deeper with this trend guide reversal, weekly trend guide 2, which has been the trend guide for 11 weeks. So unless we decide to get above weekly trend guide 1 tomorrow, then we're going to be flipping the weekly trend guides for the first time in quite a while. So we've got, anyways, this bigger zone here. If we decide to fail this, and at the moment we're still kind of in this area. It looks like we're actually trying to set a higher low. We're trying to set a higher low right now, it looks like, off of this this block here. So we'll have to see how that plays out, but could look promising there. In any event, it's got your gap fill, tier 1 daily cheat, weekly trend guide 2, like I was saying, and your trend guide reversal in there. Lower, marked off the weekly photo. You also got the photo ADRs right there, but bigger piece to me is higher time frame weekly photo. Lower than that, we added full ADR tier 2 daily cheat. There is some structure here actually if you look at this 1957, so I probably could drag that down a little bit to include that block there. Again though, if we do actually end up setting a higher low here now off of the 1976-50 block and trend guide reversal, then these lower pieces may not even come into play. Which the last big one down here, we added supply demand weekly trend guide 3 tier 3 daily cheat, because although we've already traded 14 bucks, if we really wanted to hand it to the bulls, get the bears happy on gold, I mean, why not go and hit some of those deeper levels, go back and kind of hit this block here where we did something very similar. Push up, and then kind of an exhaustion move before we failed back. And so, I mean, maybe it's something like this, which would then correspond to that 1949 and be similar here. Push up, and then just kind of a big fail. So, anywho, yep. Upside ones are pretty clean. Pretty basic on them, not a whole lot to add there. Obviously full ADRs. We do continue, could slide down into this block here, which is really just swing anchor VWAP, high volume node, tier 1 daily cheat, etc. So that is that. And CL wasn't quite as clean as I would like it to be. Had a decent higher low yesterday. Just completely missed. Of course, it was before we were even up and at the computer, so understandable. And then just really wasn't a shot for us afterwards. I mean, you could maybe have gotten in off of one of these tests, maybe off of one of these tests here from VWAP, but just wasn't something that we saw that we just loved with. And so in any event, you've got kind of a divish level here with your weekly IB stats, your weekly photo ADRs, tier 1 end of week cheat. So decent block, obviously gap fill and 20-day EMA in there. Above there, quarterly pivots, tier 1 day cheat, trend guide reversal. It has also been May's highs into this one. And then above, we get into the 50 days, kind of starting to move out already. So 50-day weekly trend guide to full ADRs, and a combo high volume node on that. There's a gap fill just above there, but candidly, to me that's kind of a div level. And if we decide to really get going and break through all that stuff and kind of get into some bigger ADRs, then we'd be watching this higher zone here up at that 7650 level with your weekly trend guide 3, combo low volume node, gap fill, etc. in that block. On the low side, did want to note out this stuff here. So full ADR weekly photo, and in this week's low, so adjusted that to pick that up, as well as adjusted this zone here down to be tier 3 daily cheat, combo high volume node, which it cut off the N and makes it look like an I or an L. In any event, you also have gap fill and weekly trend guide reversal and monthly trend guide reversal too there. So, yep, that is it for everything. Hopefully everybody has a great one. And actually, let me see if I've got the details yet. If I've got them now for econ calendar. So actually, a good bit of econ news here today. So let me do this. So, got jobless claims, continuing claims, as well as the Philly Fed stuff, and then, because again they have nothing to do, have a whole bunch of Fed speakers here today, as well as existing home sales later in the day. But big pieces to me should be the jobless claims information that comes out there at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. So. Actually put that back up on the screen there real quick. So that is that one there that I was just mentioning, and with that we will call it. Hopefully everybody has a great one. Remember, jobless claims can be, not always, but they have been known to be some volatile events. So keep that in mind if you're trying to trade around there and you're just starting a new position. Size down, no need to go into that. Full size, especially off the first move. And so. Don't see any questions, and with that we will wrap it. Hope you all have a great one. Thanks. Bye.